Hey there, it's Krystal Everdeen, and today I'm going to share with you how I crocheted this blue and white heart bag. Now of course you can use whatever colors that you like, but for this project I'm using size 4 yarn from the brand Red Heart, and I have one in white and one in light blue. Again, you can use whatever yarn that you like. I am also using a size 5mm hook for this project as well, and I went ahead and got all of these from my local craft store, but these are also found on Amazon, so if you want to buy these on Amazon, I will have my Amazon affiliate links linked in the description box below, so you can get the same yarn and hook that I'm using if you want to. But of course you can use whatever size, color, material of yarn that you want. But yeah, once you've decided on that, we can go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is make a bunch of these little heart squares. Now, how do we make these little heart squares? It certainly took me a really long time to figure that out, and it's still a little bit confusing to this day. I actually had to write down how many stitches and stuff that I needed to make in order to crochet these little heart squares, and if you follow my channel, you know that I never do that. I never actually count or follow any patterns or anything, but I just could not make the same heart over and over again. You could see how it's like different shaped hearts because I would not count. So then I finally decided, I was like, you know what? I need to count them so that my hearts could actually look the same and not like weird and wonky, unless of course you want your hearts to be all different shapes and sizes. But I wanted mine to be fairly similar, so this is what I came up with. So first you're going to grab your main color. So I'm going to start off with the blue for the background because I think it's a little bit easier for you to see against this white background. So I'm going to grab my blue, and it's going to be the background color. I'll put this here as a reference. And I'm going to chain 12. So grab your background color, whatever color you want the background to be, and chain 12. So first create a slip knot. Also, if you are completely new to crochet, I do have a crocheting for beginners video that I will link in the description box below, so you can practice with that and then come back to this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then after you have made your chain of 12, you're going to go back on it with a single crochet. So 1, 2, by the end of it you should have 11 single crochets. So that's 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, which is perfect because we do want an uneven number because we need a middle stitch for this. So anywho, so now that you have created that one row of single crochet, you're going to chain 1, you're going to flip the project over, then go into the very first stitch of the new row with a single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now before you finish that 4th stitch, you're actually going to now add the second color. So I'm going to grab my white yarn, and I'm just going to add it and finish off the single crochet with the white. And then for the 5th stitch right here, I'm going to go into the stitch and then start to make my single crochet, but right before I finish it, I'm going to add the blue again, and then I'm going to finish the single crochet with the blue. I know that gets really confusing really fast, so should we do it again? Okay, let's just do it all over again. So from you making the one row of single crochet, you made it to the end, right? You're going to chain 1, flip the project over, then you're going to single crochet 4, but not a whole 4. So 1, 2, 3, And then this is going to be 4, right? But before you finish the 4th one, you're going to add the second color. So I'm going to grab my white, and then I'm going to attach it to my hook, and then finish the 4th stitch with the second color, which is my white yarn. And then from here, I'm going to go into the 5th stitch, which is the middle stitch out of the project so far. And I'm going to start to make a single crochet. Then I'm going to grab the blue yarn again and then finish off the single crochet with the blue yarn. And then I'm just going to continue with the rest of the row with the blue yarn. So this is another 4 single crochets. And then now that I'm at the end of the row, I'm going to chain 1, flip the project over, then single crochet 3 with the blue, 1, 2, but then of course not a full 3, it's just going to be half of a single crochet, then I'm going to add the white. Another thing with this that gets confusing is that you always have to make sure that the yarn is always facing one side. So make sure that it's not on the opposite side, it's always on one side. Whatever side is going to be the ugly side. So yeah, this is going to be my 3rd single crochet. So I'm going to complete the single crochet with the white, and then I'm going to make 3 more single crochets with the white. So 1, 2, and then for the 3rd one, it's going to mostly be a single crochet, but then I'm going to add the blue again, and then complete the 3rd single crochet with the blue. And then complete the rest of the row with the blue yarn. So 1, 2, and 3. And this is what the project looks like so far. Does not look like a heart at all yet, I know, but eventually we will get there. And also always make sure that the yarn is on the one side, the ugly side, because if not, then you're going to have yarn sticking out of both sides, and then both sides are going to be the ugly side. So always make sure that you have the yarn on one side whenever you're switching it out. So from here, I actually have to check my notes. So we're going to single crochet 2 with the blue yarn, and then we're going to single crochet 5 with the white yarn. So from here we're going to chain 1, then go into the very first stitch, 1, 2, and then right before we finish that 3rd one, we're going to add the white, and then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but right before we finish the 5th one, we're going to switch it to the blue again, and then complete it with the blue, and then do the rest of the row with the blue. 1, 2, 3, and this is what the project looks like so far. It's starting to look a little bit more like the bottom of a heart, right? So from here, you're going to chain 1, flip the project over, and then we're going to single crochet 2 with this blue yarn. So 1 and 2, almost 2, because we're going to switch to the second color. So I'm going to grab my white yarn and finish the 2nd stitch with the white yarn. And then from here, you're going to single crochet 7 with the second color. So I'm going to single crochet 7 with the white yarn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, but right before I finish the 7th stitch, I'm going to reattach the blue yarn and then finish it with the blue yarn, and then I'm going to single crochet 2 until I get to the end of the row. And then once I reach the end of the row, I'm going to chain 1, flip the project over, then I'm going to single crochet 1. So with this one, you're just going to go into that first stitch, almost complete one full single crochet, switch the color, then complete it with the second color, and then single crochet 9 with the second color. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, but right before I finish the 9th stitch, I'm going to reattach the blue yarn and then finish the stitch with the blue yarn. And then from here, I'm just going to single crochet 1, and I'll be at the end of the row. And then you're actually going to do that again. So you're going to chain 1, flip the project over, then go into that first stitch, and then almost single crochet 1, but then switch to the second color, and then complete that single crochet. Then single crochet 9 with the second color. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. But once you reach the 9th stitch, before you finish it, you're going to reattach the blue, or the first color, and then finish off that 9th stitch with the first color. And then you're going to go into the last stitch of the row with the blue, and then you'll be done with that row. And this is what the project looks like so far. So from here, we're going to chain 1, flip the project over, then single crochet 1 as we did before, then switch the color, and we're going to single crochet 4 with the second color. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. But right before we finish the 4th stitch, we're going to switch the color again to the blue, and then finish off the stitch with the blue. And then for this 5th stitch right here, we're going to go into it with the blue, but then switch on over back to the white again and complete the stitch with the white, and then do 4 more stitches with the white, or the second color. So 2, 3, 4. But right before we finish that 4th stitch, we're going to switch the color, and then we're going to complete that 4th stitch. Then we're going to go into the last stitch of the row with the blue yarn, and this is what the project looks like so far. We are almost done, guys. I know, it's been a wild ride. So from here, you're going to chain 1, flip the project over, go into the first and second stitch, but before we finish that second stitch, you're going to switch the color and complete that stitch with the second color. And then you're going to single crochet 2 with the second color. So 1, 2, but right before you finish that second stitch, you're going to switch the color yet again, and then complete that stitch with the blue. And then you're going to single crochet 3 with the blue. So 1, 2, and 3, but before you finish that 3rd stitch, you're going to switch the color, and then you're going to crochet 2 with the white. So 1, 2, but before you finish that second one, you're going to reattach the blue, and then you're going to single crochet until the end of the row, like so. And this is what the project looks like. And then from here, you don't have to worry about the white anymore. You don't have to worry about the second color anymore. You can just do 1 or 2 more rows with the blue. I think I'm just going to do 1 row with the blue. So no more switching of the colors. And after you create either 1 or 2 more rows with the blue, then you are completely done with your first heart. And all you have to do is that probably another 20 times. Let's see. So this is what my little heart looks like. Now what I like to do is I actually like to go all around and just do a row of single crochet all around the square, just to make sure it's like all even and that they're all the same size. So that's why this one's a little bit bigger than what I just made right now. But yeah, that's pretty much what you need to do. I know it's a lot of switching and it's really confusing. Again, it took me so long to figure out how to make this, and I was also struggling with trying to remember to keep all of the yarn on one side, because whenever I would switch it, sometimes I would like leave it on this side and then switch it, and then I realized that this was on this side and that's not good. So yeah, don't worry if you don't get it right away, and don't worry if you have to pause and rewind a gajillion times. I totally get it. It's a lot of steps and things that you have to remember to make it, but hey, they turn out so cute. So like I said before, you're going to have to make a lot of these. Let's see, how many have I made so far? So not only did I make these blue with white hearts, but I also made these white with blue hearts because I want, you know, obviously I want them to like be opposite and they'll look really, really cute. But if you don't want to make as many hearts as I do, I think another design that would look really cute is if it was like either the white and blue or the blue and white, and then a solid square after, just in case you don't want to make a gazillion of these hearts. But in total, I made 20 of them. So yeah, just for reference, I made 20 of these. So I did this 20 times with this combination and this combination. So yeah, it's gonna take you a little bit to make this, just to make the hearts alone, but I'm sure after a while you'll get used to it. Just write down the instructions like I did. If you want to see the instructions, they're right here. So it's like the chain 12. I put crochet 2 rows, but I switched that back to 1 row because I think 2 rows is a little bit too thick on the bottom, so 1 row is fine. And then, you know, here's the rest of the project if you want to screenshot that or something, so that you can refer back to that. But yeah, also here's my little drawing of the bag I want to make. Again, this is with the solid pieces. Anywho, but yeah, so just go ahead and make 20 of these and then come back to the video. Yeah. Okay, so now that you've crocheted 20 of these heart squares, we're now going to attach them all together like this. So I've already attached this side, so there's going to be obviously 2 sides, each containing 10 of these heart squares, so 5 of the white and 5 of the blue. And how I did it was I aligned each of the heart squares like so, where I alternated between the blue and the white colored squares. So just lined them up like this, and after I lined them up, did I make extra? Oh, I did make extra. Okay, I just ignored the, I have 2 extra ones. This is how I aligned them, and you can either attach them together by using yarn and your crochet hook, but I personally like using just a needle and thread. That's what I use to attach all of these together. It's just because you could hardly see any of the stitching in between, and when I use my yarn and hook, I'm usually able to see the stitching, and I don't really like the way it looks, so maybe I'm doing it wrong. So it's whatever you prefer. You could, again, attach it with the yarn and crochet hook, just, you know, like so. Say I would go over here, grab the other one, and then attach them together with the yarn like this, and just slip stitch them together like so all along the edge of the 2 pieces, and voila, they are attached like so. But again, I don't really like it because when you pull them apart you can kind of see the stitching. So that's why I go for a needle and thread, because it's much thinner, so you actually can't really see the stitching. You see, even if I pull it apart, you can't see it. So that's why I use the needle and thread. And I essentially do the same thing, where I just get the 2 pieces that I want to attach together, I put them together, and then I make sure that the wrong sides are facing me, or rather like the ugly sides, I don't know. Sometimes it's called the wrong side facing up, or I call it the ugly side. But yeah, I guess wrong sides facing together, and then that's when I start sewing them together like so, sewing them together like so, like this, just in and out, all the way down each side. And then when I pull them apart like this, you can't really see the stitching, which is fantastic. Well, obviously you can see it now because it's loosening it up because it's not complete yet, but when it is complete, even when you pull it apart, you can't really see it. Sorry that it keeps like not focusing on the right thing. But yeah, so again, that's what I do to attach them together. So all you're going to do now is either get your yarn and your hook and attach them with a slip stitch, or you're going to get a needle and thread and then attach them by sewing them together like I am. So attach them right here, and then all along right here, all along right here, right here, right here, until you get this. So this is going to be one side of the bag, and then that's going to be the other side of the bag. And then from there we're going to move on to the middle portion of the bag to give the bag some space, and then the straps, and then we will be done. Okay, so this is the progress so far. I have attached these 3, and now I'm going to attach this 4th one right here. So my thread is attached to the center, and then from here I'm just going to align the square where I want it to be attached to, and then I'm just going to sew on the back of it again, so everything that is not very pleasant to see is in the back, so we won't be able to actually see anything, and the nice clean stitches are in the front, so everything looks nice and cohesive and put together, while the back, you know, looks like this. So yeah, all I'm doing is just sticking my needle in and out throughout both of the squares where I want them to be attached to, making sure that they are aligned and that each stitch is not too far away from the previous stitch. Otherwise there's going to be gaps in between where you're attaching the squares. So make sure that they're fairly close to each other. I think for me, I make 2 like sewing stitches inside of each stitch, like crochet stitch. So this is 1 crochet stitch, right? So I'm going to go in there once and twice. And that's just my rule of thumb, but again, totally up to you. So once I reach the end of the row here, then I will be completely done attaching this side. And then I just need to cut the thread from this side and then reattach it to this side, so I could do the exact same thing and then attach the 2 together right there as well. So this is what it looks like. So now this one and this one are nice and attached, and you can't even see the stitching, which is why I like to use a needle and thread as opposed to yarn and hook. But of course you could also use yarn to attach the squares as well. But yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just going to attach all of these together, and then once I'm done, I will get back to you. Okay, and after you have completed attaching all of the heart pieces together, making 2 bigger heart pieces consisting each of 10 smaller heart pieces, alternating from a blue background to a white background, blue background, white background, blah 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 blah. And you have again 2 of these pieces. It's time to attach them together. Now you can just attach the 2 pieces together on the sides right here, and then the bottom, and then that will be a bag itself. It'll be a really thin bag, but it will technically be a bag, and you could do that if you want to. However, I do want my bag to be a little bit more roomy, so I'm going to add a couple rows of single crochet in between. So what I'm going to do is, instead of attaching them right now, I'm going to add a couple more rows of single crochet on the side right here, as well as on the bottom and then the other side. Once I'm happy with the width of it, then I will attach the other side. So from here, I'm just going to attach the yarn to the top of this heart piece that I made, and then I'm just going to single crochet my way down. Yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory, I guess. So I'm just going to make a few rows of single crochet, just going down the side of the project right here. And again, you do not have to do this, but if you do want a little bit more space in your bag, then I would recommend that you do this to make it a little bit wider instead of just attaching the 2 heart pieces together, because then it'll be a pretty thin bag. You probably won't be able to fit as much, but I know a lot of people also like the look of that kind of bag, a very thin, small, minimalistic bag. That's fine as well, but for me, I do want a little bit of room in my bag, so I'm going to add a couple rows of single crochet until I'm happy with the width, and then once I'm happy with the width, I'll go ahead and attach the other half that side, to the bag to complete the bag portion of it, and then all we have to do is make the strap, and once we're done with the strap, then we are done with the bag itself. Okay, so I have completed a couple rows of single crochet all along this piece, as you can see right here. So again, I started from the top over here, then I crocheted my way down and across, then up, then down and across and up, then down and across and up, and then down and across and up one last time until I got to this point. And now we're going to attach the other half. However, this is the part where if you do want to sew in a layer on top of this, then you should do that right now. So you just need to cut out a square piece of fabric and then you sew that on top of this. That way, one, you could hide this, and also when you put stuff in your bag, it won't like snag onto this. Now, I'm actually not sure if I'm going to keep this bag or if I'm going to unravel this project and then reuse the hearts for another tutorial. So I'm actually going to skip that part, but if I was like for sure I'm going to keep this bag, I would absolutely totally add that extra piece of fabric on here. And yeah, so if you want to do that right now before you attach it, because it's going to be harder to attach a piece of fabric after we attach the bag together. So from here, I'm going to grab the two pieces, again, wrong sides together, the ugly side facing out, and I'm going to actually use my yarn and hook to attach them this time, as opposed to needle and thread like when I was attaching the hearts together. So I'm just going to slip stitch the two pieces together like so. So I'm just going to go into the two stitches that I want to attach, and then just slip stitch both one stitch on one side and then the second stitch on the other side, slip stitch them together, one stitch on one side, then the adjacent stitch on the other, slip stitch them together, and I'm just going to do that all along the side, the bottom, and then the other side until everything is attached. Okay, so now that I have attached all the sides together, this is what the project looks like. Now I need to flip it right side in. Let's see what the final product is. Again, I didn't really make too many rows of single crochet on the side right here, but I just added a little bit just so it's not super duper flat. But if you want it even wider, just add more rows of single crochet. But yeah, this is what my little bag looks like so far. It's actually so cute. Okay, so this is what the project looks like so far. I actually ended right over here when I was attaching everything together. So from here, I'm just going to make the straps. Strap that goes from here to over here. And it's only going to be one strap, and it's going to be from this side to this side. So from here, I'm just going to chain a really long chain and then attach it to the other side. And it's going to be really long, again, because I want it to be a crossbody. So I'm probably going to chain 100. Okay, so the chain actually ended up being 140 chains instead of just 100. So from here, I'm going to grab the bag and then attach the strap to the opposite side. And I'm just going to attach it with a slip stitch. And voila! It is nice and attached. Now I definitely don't want the strap to just be a chain, so I'm going to go back on that chain a couple of times with a single crochet just to make it thicker and more sturdy. So from here I'm actually going to single crochet one to the side, and then I'm going to single crochet on top of the chain itself. Okay, so I completed about 5 rows of single crochet for the strap, and I ended right here. So I'm just going to cut the yarn from the yarn ball. Then I'm going to bring the excess yarn through the last loop, give it a tug, and then also kind of like tuck it in a little bit so it's not sticking out too much for now, and then deal with, you know, this madness later. But yeah, this is the project. You have now completed crocheting a heart crossbody bag. It's super duper cute. I really like the way that this came out. Very small and simple, although it did take us a really long time to make. But it's super adorable. And again, you could make this in a bunch of different colors. You could also make it wider. You could make it thinner. You can make the strap differently. There's so many ways that you could personalize it to your own style. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit more complicated than my normal tutorials, but Again, you could always pause and rewind or slow down the video itself by going to the video settings if it is a bit too fast for you. But yeah, again, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it either interesting, entertaining, or helpful. And if you did, please give it a big thumbs up before you go. If you do need some more beginner-friendly tutorials, I will link some in the description box below. Check out my channel. There's a lot of free crochet videos for you to enjoy. Thank you again for watching. Don't forget to click that red subscribe button if you have not already, so I can see you next time. Bye! And have a magical day.
These days, under the sun together. These days, let's make them last forever. These days, let's hope they last forever.